Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here for the museum's budget committee. My name is Sean Briscoe, the director of the Bowman Museum. I don't know if we want to go around and introduce ourselves before we get going.
Jessica Lay, member of the Bowman Museum Board.
Seth Crawford, Crook County.
Mike Wright, board. Brian Barney, Cook County.
Started.
Dorothy Gowan, the Museum Advisory Board.
Susie Hermright, Crook County.
So the first thing that we'll need to do is nominate a chair for this advisory board.
I'd like to nominate Jessica.
Second.
All in favor of nominating Jessica Lay as the chair of this committee?
Aye.
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 It's your meeting now. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. At this time, I will turn it over to the director of the Bowman Museum to give the budget message.
Right. Well, thank you all for being here. So just as a little background, the Bowman Museum focuses on the preservation and education of Crook County and Central Oregon history. We do this by collecting and preserving artifacts, establishing exhibits, hosting class visits, hosting educational programs, and along with a variety of different ways. The Bowman Museum works in conjunction with the Crook County Historical Society, which is a nonprofit organization. The county supports the museum through staffing, which is 2 full-time staffers, 2 part-time staffers, and a Saturday host, the Bowman Museum building, the Crook County Historical Center, which is the attachment to the Bowman building, Ranchers Memorial, Pioneer Cabin, and Caboose Park. So the overall budget is how it's looking for fiscal year 2026. The museum is funded by property taxes from the general fund, the transient room tax, and property tax for the local option levy, which is 6 cents per thousand on assessed value. The levy was approved by voters through fiscal year 2028. The museum is projected to have a beginning fund balance based on unspent funds, $275,000. The major expenditures for the upcoming budget are facilities, IT, and personnel. As for the budget, the museum anticipates a total revenue of $552,000 for the fiscal year 2026, with a beginning fund balance of $275,000 rolled forward from the prior fiscal year. The total museum resources are $827,000. The operating expenditures for personnel, materials and services, and capital outlay are as follows. Personnel is $292,000. Materials and services is $247,000. Capital outlay is $24,000. The remainder of the available resources of $264,000 are held in our contingency fund. One important point I'd like to highlight is the positive trend in the museum's financial performance over the last 3 years. In 2024, the museum experienced a budget shortfall of $56,000. 2025, the shortfall was reduced to $15,000, and in 2026, the shortfall declined further to $11,000. So we're making progress in the right direction. This steady improvement reflects the proactive steps we've taken to strengthen our financial position. Key contributing factors to this decline includes an increase in revenue from local tax dollars, success in securing additional funding, higher returns on interest-based accounts, a thorough review of the museum's operations, resulting in elimination of unnecessary spending, a greater carryover of funds from previous fiscal years, and a reduction in personnel costs due to 1 fewer full-time staff member. By making these changes, we have increased our contingency fund from $202,000 from last year's budget to $264,000 on this year's budget. In addition, our capital outlay expense of $24,000 is set to expire fiscal year 2026. While there is still progress to be made, we're moving in the right direction towards sustainability and long-term stability for the museum. So looking towards the future, this year and future years, the museum will be facing a couple challenges. To highlight some of the main challenges we're going to be facing is proactively addressing operational deficits and the rising costs of essential services through grant applications and donations. Expanding and diversifying revenue streams by pursuing innovative funding opportunities, including grants, contributions, and enhancing fundraising initiatives. In addition, continuing to deliver high-quality preservation practices, public programs, and educational experiences while navigating the challenges of limited staffing capacity. Despite a small team, the museum reach and impact continues to grow. In the past year alone, staff has successfully hosted 27 engaging programs, welcomed 603 students from Prineville and across Central Oregon schools for educational field trips, hosted over 19,000 visitors through our doors, and facilitated 134 community room reservations, underscoring the museum's role as a vital community gathering space. Lastly, addressing the aging IT and facility infrastructure of the museum. The Bowman Museum, originally constructed in 1910 and has been serving as a museum since 1971, remains structurally sound. However, after more than a century of use, the building is beginning to show some signs of aging and wear, and this is something that we'll be addressing in the future. To address these challenges, the museum staff remains committed to pursuing external funds through grants, donations, strategic fundraising efforts to address the aging IT and facility infrastructure, improving operational efficiency to preserve, interpret, and celebrate our community's rich history in sustainable ways that protect staff well-being and prevent burnout, maximizing the impact of every dollar by using funding strategically and responsibly, ensuring our budget directly supports and strengthens the museum's mission. So as we prepare for next year, we are definitely looking forward to a lot of highlights that the museum is looking forward to. One of the main ones that we're looking forward to is redesigning the museum's website to enhance public visibility, improve search discoverability, and fostering a meaningful online engagement with our local and regional audiences. In addition, we're looking to launch phase 2 of the Rancher Memorial renovation, building on our initial preservation work to further honor and interpret Crook County's ranching heritage. Continue revitalizing the museum's first floor exhibits to provide a more engaging visitor experience, and broadening out our outreach and deepening community connection to expand educational programs, school partnerships, and public events through strategic collaborations with local organizations. Looking ahead, the museum must continue to steward its resources wisely, prioritizing strategic spending, operating efficiently with both staff and volunteer, and actively pursuing outside funding opportunities. While challenges lie ahead, I'm confident in the direction we are heading. We are making meaningful progress, embracing innovation, and exploring creative solutions to ensure long-term sustainability. Our dedicated staff and volunteers remain committed to preserving, educating, and celebrating the rich history of our community. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can accomplish in the years to come. Thank you. So I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
What's the second phase of the Rancher Memorial renovation?
So phase 1 was really cleaning up the outside, getting a lot of the dilapidated wood out, getting all of the artifacts onto concrete plats. The second one is now we're going inside. We're going to be looking through a lot of the what we have collected in there and really honing in on the collection scope to make sure the items in there relate to Crook County history. We have a lot of random things in there that have been collected over the years, so it's time to clean that out, and that will be step 2, which will then open up for us for step 3 in making it more of an exhibit space. So we're kind of cleaning house first before we can start designing.
Good. Sounds great.
All right, at this time, I'd like to open up for any public comment. All right, there's no public comment. We will close the public comment time. All right, I would like to now open up for deliberation on the proposed museum budget.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you've done. We brought this up, like you said, a couple years ago. We were in a rough spot and we were kind of bleeding money, and I think you've done a really good job of stopping that and turning that around. And I appreciate you doing what you said you were going to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've done a great job managing the museum.
Thank you.
You've brought a lot of enthusiasm to the museum, which we really appreciate. And it's just brought a whole new dimension, and your programs are wonderful. I wish I didn't have to miss. I know I'm missing one. And so, no, I really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
And I know that in the future, it's just going to be bigger and brighter. And I really look forward to seeing where we go from here.
Thank you.
I got to go witness the middle school at Powell Butte, got to go hang out at the museum today. And so I went and spent some time. One of my daughters was there, so it was neat, and they all were really engaged and
Got to see the field trips firsthand.
Yeah,
Yep, that
yeah.
was,
quite a bit of
Mhm.
chaos.
yeah, it's organized chaos. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. We had 60 students from Powell Butte. Last week, we had about 80 kindergartners from one of the other local schools. So right now we're in, I like to call it a field trip season. Basically have a field trip every week the last 6 weeks. So it's a great opportunity for the kids to really get in there, and it's during when the museum's closed, so they basically have the whole place to themselves. So it allows them to really engage in it. And the kids love it. We love it. So it's nice. I'm glad you got to see that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And I'm glad to see how you encourage community participation. And I know you want to do more and more of that. And that's really important because as the children go, they're going to bring their parents there and their grandmas and grandpas. And that is what we need, is more engagement to know. We know where we've came from. We'll know where we're going. And I really commend you also on that, Sean.
Thank you. One of the exciting things is seeing a student we had a field trip with, and then that weekend they brought their parents in, and the kid walks in, knows where everything's at, takes them, and we just let the kid lead them through with their parents. So that's one of the special moments.
Sure. That's the whole point. That's wonderful.
All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion on the proposed museum budget.
I move that the Budget Committee of Crook County Historical Fund for the operation of the Bowman Museum in Crook County, Oregon, approve the budget as proposed for the 2025 and 26 fiscal year in the amount of $827,000.
All in favor of the motion to approve the proposed? Oh, sorry.
Second.
All in favor of the motion to approve the proposed museum budget for the fiscal year 2025 to 2026?
Supposed to ask for discussion too.
I am.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's not a big deal.
Is there any discussion on the?
No, we don't want to discuss anything. We just want to vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all in favor of the motion to approve the proposed museum budget for the fiscal year 2025 to 2026?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Sean, for a very good presentation.
We have one more
There's-
thing.
We have one
One more thing?
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, all righty. Okay, see, I thought you were done. It was such a good act. Okay,
Well,
let's keep
thank you.
going.
We have one more thing to vote on.
Okay.
Yep.
Historical fund, okay.
Okay, so I would like to entertain a motion on the Crook County Historical Fund tax levy.
I move that the Budget Committee of Crook County Historical Fund for the operation of the Bowman Museum in Crook County, Oregon, approve the property taxes for the 2025-26 fiscal year in the amount of 6 cents per 1,000 of assessed value for the local option tax levy.
Second?
Any discussion?
Nope.
All right, all in favor of the motion to approve the Crook County Historical Fund tax levy for the fiscal year 2025 to 2026?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.
Now you've got the money to go do the good. Okay.